They will disrespect you, not by chance, not by mistake. They do it to test you, to probe for weakness, to see if you bleed. A smirk, a laugh, a careless insult delivered with intent. And most men, they fail. They snap in rage or they beg for approval. Both are the same weakness dressed in different clothes. The moment they react, they hand over control, and the coward wins. But you are not most men. You are here because you're done with weakness. You are here because you refuse to ever kneel to disrespect again. You are here because you want the darkest way to handle it, the Machiavellian way. Remember this: men are ruled by two forces, fear and respect. Everything else is illusion. Disrespect is their test. If you plead, you gain nothing. If you explode, you show your strings. But if you remain cold, if you stay silent, calculating, and strike only when it matters, you become untouchable. They learn that you cannot be rattled, cannot be bent, cannot be played. From this day forward, burn this into your mind. Disrespect is not pain, it is opportunity. It is your signal that the enemy has revealed himself, and in that revelation lies your advantage. What you do with it will decide if you remain ordinary or ascend into power. Welcome to the darkest way to handle disrespect. Welcome to Machiavelli's way. Disrespect is a test, not of your pride, but of your power. When someone dares to cross that line, they are probing you, searching for weakness, waiting to see if you break. Most men do. They answer instantly, shouting, defending, justifying. In their rush to protect their image, they reveal something worse, that their image can be broken. In that moment, they are owned. Power does not rush. Power does not explain. Power does not dance on command. The man who understands this becomes untouchable. When insulted, he doesn't flare with rage. He doesn't beg for clarity. He doesn't flinch. He watches. He calculates. He lets silence hang heavy in the air until the offender begins to feel the weight of his own words. That silence is more terrifying than any outburst. Because silence says, I am not moved, I am not touched, but I will remember. This is the darkest way to handle disrespect, not by reacting, but by absorbing it, converting it, weaponizing it. The fool expects a fight. Instead, he meets a wall, cold, unbreakable, and behind that wall is a mind sharpening the memory of the insult into a blade. The strike does not come when he expects it. It comes when it benefits you most. Precision over impulse, timing over temper. That is how respect is enforced and fear is born. The man who cannot be provoked controls the battlefield. He dictates the pace, the terms, the ending. His enemies stumble in frustration, confused by his calm, unsettled by his patience, destroyed by his timing. This is why Machiavelli warned, it is safer to be feared than to be loved. Love is fragile. Fear endures. Remember this and engrave it into your identity. Comment these words now. I do not react. I calculate. Every time you repeat them, you strip away weakness and replace it with discipline. This is the first step in becoming untouchable, mastering the art of silence, patience, and precision. When you own your reactions, you own the game. And once you own the game, disrespect is no longer an attack. It becomes your weapon. The greatest mistake a man makes when disrespected is believing he must answer immediately. He thinks speed is strength, but in truth, speed is slavery. The one who rushes to defend himself proves he is already under command. He is dancing to another man's rhythm. He is caught in the trap. Understand this. Disrespect is bait. It's thrown at you to see if you'll bite. If you do, you confirm weakness. Your enemy watches your rage, your desperation, your hunger to be seen as strong, and he knows you are not. This is why so many powerful men fall. They mistake noise for dominance. They mistake reaction for control. But control is never loud. Control is silent, cold, waiting. The trap of reaction is simple. Once they know how to provoke you, they own you. They can steer your emotions, predict your moves, play your pride like an instrument. And a man whose pride can be played is already defeated. To walk the Machiavellian path, you must break this cycle. You must become unreadable. Let them strike. and give them nothing, no flash of anger, no hint of pain, no satisfaction. Their disrespect falls into silence, and in that silence, they begin to choke on their own attempt. Doubt creeps in. Fear follows. They start asking themselves, why didn't he react? What is he planning? That uncertainty is your weapon. A man who cannot be provoked is feared more than a man who roars. His calm unsettles because calm signals calculation, and calculation signals danger. The moment your enemies cannot predict you, they cannot control you. And once you are beyond control, you are beyond reach. Engrave this into your identity and type it below. My calm is their chaos. Let it remind you that silence and stillness are not weakness. They are the foundations of power. This is how you step over the trap. By refusing to react, you starve your enemies. By staying cold, you force them to fear the storm they cannot see. This is the second law of untouchability. Never react when reaction is expected. Patience is the sharpest blade in the arsenal of power. Most men can strike in anger. Few can strike in silence. The difference is everything. Anger burns hot but burns out quickly. Patience builds slowly, then cuts with precision. The man who waits is the man who rules. Understand this. Disrespect is noise. It tries to pull you into chaos. The fool wants to see you lose control because control is where power lives. If you hold your ground, if you remain still while he wastes his energy, you reverse the game. His impatience becomes your advantage. His need to provoke becomes your evidence that he is already beneath you. Patience allows you to see more, to wait until your enemy is fully exposed, to let him believe you are passive, harmless, unmoved until the moment his guard is down. Then you strike. And when you strike, it's not just revenge. It's a message, a lesson carved into his mind. Disrespect carries a cost so sharp, he'll think twice before ever daring again. But here is the dark truth. Patience is not weakness. It is the purest form of control. Anyone can react. Few can restrain. To wait requires dominance over self. And the man who rules himself rules everything around him. This is why Machiavelli wrote that men must either be won over or destroyed, because half measures invite defiance. Patience ensures you choose your moment with finality. Most men fear waiting because they confuse it with inaction. But patience is not inaction, it is preparation. It is the sharpening of the blade while others waste themselves in noise. The one who waits controls time itself, and the one who controls time always wins. Engrave this into your mind and comment it below. My patience is my weapon. Let these words remind you that every insult, every slight, every attempt to test you is simply material. Fuel for the strike you will unleash when it matters. This is the third step toward becoming untouchable. To weaponize patience, to understand that silence is not surrender and waiting is not weakness. It is the art of letting your enemies dig their own grave while you stand over them holding the shovel. Fear is currency, and like all currency, it can be earned, spent, and invested. The mistake most men make is thinking fear must come from loud displays, shouting, threats, aggression. That is the fear of amateurs. It's cheap, shallow, and fades the moment the noise stops. The fear of true power is different. It is silent, subtle, and permanent. Controlled fear begins when you refuse to be provoked. Your calm unsettles them. They see you smile at disrespect, see you stand motionless while others would break. They do not understand it, and what men do not understand, they fear. That fear grows stronger when they realize your silence is not weakness, but calculation, that you remember every slight, and that one day, when it suits you, you will strike. This is the essence of Machiavelli's principle. It is safer to be feared than loved. Love is fragile, dependent on constant feeding. Fear is self-sustaining, because once established, it spreads through doubt and imagination. The man who is feared never needs to raise his voice. His enemies imagine what he might do, and their imagination punishes them harder than he ever could. To control fear, you must master two things: unpredictability and consequence. Unpredictability keeps them guessing. They never know when or how you will move. Consequence ensures that when you finally strike, the memory burns into their mind. Even a single calculated response, delivered coldly and without warning, can silence a lifetime of disrespect. Fear is not about violence, it is about presence, about carrying yourself as if every action is deliberate, every silence intentional, every glance heavy with meaning. When others realize they cannot predict you, cannot shake you, cannot own you, they begin to fear you. And from fear, respect is born. Write this into your identity and carve it in the comments. I am calm, I am feared. These words will remind you that the most dangerous man is not the loudest in the room, but the one who never needs to speak. This is the fourth step toward becoming untouchable, to control fear, to wield it like a weapon others never see but always feel. Disrespect hands you information. Treat it like intelligence, not injury. Every slight maps a weakness of the offender, of the room, of the power structure. The man who sees patterns wins. The man who feels insult as pain loses. Learn to harvest insults. Store them, contextualize them. Who said it? When? Why now? That data is currency. Spend it wisely. Use it when it buys you advantage, never when it satisfies vanity. Leverage is quiet, a whispered reminder, a single public correction, a withdrawal of favor that unravels an enemy's network. Not spectacle, strategy. When you convert disrespect into leverage, you do three things at once. You punish, you teach, and you protect. Punish with precision so others learn the cost. Teach by example so the world recalibrates. Protect by removing future threats before they form. One clean, cold maneuver erases dozens of small slights. Example, do not retaliate in the moment. Wait. When the target is exposed, withdraw a resource only you control. Access, influence, reputation. The loss will sting more than a shouted insult ever could. They will ask why. They will search for meaning. That search breeds fear. That fear gives you space to expand. Remember, leverage grows when you are patient and invisible. The loud avenger is soon ignored. The calculated operator is feared for life. Comment this now, brief and true. I turn insult into advantage. Repeat it to internalize the law. Use disrespect as tools, not wounds. Build a system of responses that costs others more than it costs you. That is how respect becomes inevitable. Power is a process, not a performance. The loud man blows himself out. The quiet man remakes the world. Quiet collapse is the art of dismantling an enemy without ceremony. One precise, hidden adjustment at a time until their structure fails and yours remains intact. Start with scaffolding, reputation, access, loyalty. Those are the columns that hold influence upright. Protect them with action, not words. When slander comes, you do not shout. You strengthen alliances. You reward loyalty. You make your network denser, your enemy's positions thinner. The surface looks calm. Underneath, the supports are being removed. Then move surgically. Withdraw a favor here. Redirect an introduction there. Reassign a deputy. Small invisible shifts, each meaningless alone, compound into catastrophic imbalance. The opponent reaches for the same tools you once left them. They find empty sockets. They panic. Panic reveals character. Character reveals weakness. Weakness invites the final cut. Keep timing impeccable. Visibility is a luxury for the incompetent. If your moves are seen coming, they can be stopped. If they are unseen, panic spreads before the enemy understands the cause. Panic makes mistakes. Mistakes create openings. Openings become inevitabilities. That is the logic of quiet collapse. Preserve your image throughout. Remain composed. Be reasonable in public. Let the fallout do the talking. When the dust settles, observers judge outcome, not noise. They ask who planned, who steadied, who won. Your calm will be read as mastery, theirs as failure. Respect transfers automatically. This is not cruelty. It is efficiency. It is the lethal economy of power, minimal spectacle, maximal result. If you wish to be untouchable, learn to bring down an enemy like a house of cards. Soft pressure at key points until the whole thing folds on its own. Type this into the comments and mean it. I build silently. I collapse deliberately. Say it until it becomes habit. The quiet collapse spares you blood and drama. It secures everything that matters. And when it is finished, you stand alone, untouched, inevitable, and more feared than any loud tyrant. Power is narrative. If you command the story, you command perception, and perception becomes reality. Weak men chase reputation like beggars chasing coins, desperate for approval. Strong men create reputation like architects, deliberate, calculated, and unshakable. Control the court around you, and you control the echo of your name long after you leave the room. Build your court with precision. Allies are not friends, they are instruments. Choose those who add reach, who expand your influence, who owe you in ways they cannot repay. Reward visibly, but punish quietly. Show the world that loyalty to you is profitable and betrayal is fatal. Let this court speak for you when you say nothing. That is influence. That is insulation. Then, control the frame. Rumors will rise. Insults will surface. Do not chase them. Redirect them. Replace gossip with evidence of your composure. Replace doubt with proof of consistency. When they expect rage, show discipline. When they predict collapse, demonstrate control. Minds crave coherent stories. Give them one where you are the inevitable constant, and they will choose to believe it. Generosity is a blade. Extend it when it binds. Withdraw it when it teaches. A favor given creates weight. A favor removed creates fear. People remember how you made them feel more than what you said. Engineer those feelings so that your presence is always tied to power. And when you must make an example, do it with dignity. The world must see you as steady even while your enemies fall. Public calm, private precision. This duality keeps the masses guessing and your rivals terrified. Write it now to anchor it into your identity. I command the court. The story follows. Repeat until your network reflects it. Master the court, master the narrative, and disrespect dissolves. Because when the story is yours, resistance is futile. Retaliation is craft, not catharsis. Never strike in heat. Anger wounds you as much as him. Wait, watch. Choose the moment that breaks his life, not your pride. When you move, move surgically. Withdraw access. Silence his allies. Reassign favors. Use tools only you control. One quiet removal hurts more than a public scene. It teaches without spectacle. Conceal intent. The deadliest blow is the one no one predicted. If they can trace your plan, they can stop it. Make your strike look inevitable, an ordinary consequence with extraordinary cost. Panic follows. Panic reveals weakness. Weakness ends careers. Be proportional. Retaliation aims to reset the balance, not satisfy vanity. A single decisive response remembered for years outweighs 1,000 petty victories. Follow through. Half measures invite new tests. Consistency enforces boundaries. Comment this and mean it. Strike unseen. End decisive. Power is repetition forged into armor. Discipline performed daily becomes an aura others cannot penetrate. While weak men drift in chaos, the untouchable man builds order. His rituals are signals, steady walk, measured words, precise timing. Every detail whispers control. Establish routines that reinforce dominance. Arrive composed, depart unhurried, answer only when silence has worked in your favor. These patterns shape how the world perceives you. Predictable in strength, unpredictable in consequence. Keep a private ledger. Track slights, favors, debts. Memory becomes leverage. Rituals become law. Publicly stay consistent. Privately sharpen the blade. When both align, you radiate inevitability. Rituals are not softness. They are weapons disguised as manners. They condition the crowd to respect your presence and teach enemies that testing you is exhausting. Over time, they stop trying. Seal it into your identity. Comment now. My rituals build my throne. This is where it all converges. Silence, patience, leverage, collapse, story, ritual, retaliation. Threads woven into one unbreakable fabric. Power is not in one act, it is in the system you build, the weak chase moments, the untouchable build structures. From now on, let every slight fuel your ledger, let every insult sharpen your timing, let every move you make reinforce inevitability. You are no longer reacting, you are orchestrating. Disrespect becomes signal, patience becomes blade, fear becomes armor. When you act, act once and with precision. Let the result feel like gravity, cold, impartial, unstoppable. That is how empires are built, not on noise, but on inevitability. Comment this to lock it in. I harvest silence, I wield consequence. Then write your own phrase, unique, powerful, yours. And if this forged something inside you, strengthen the chain. Like this video, subscribe to Psychologia, and turn on notifications. The next lesson is coming. Be ready.